The ocean is getting darker, and I think it's time we discuss why this is so important. Now, let me remind us all that most of the ocean is pitch black. 95% of the ocean, light does not penetrate through. The part of the ocean that does have sunlight, we call the photic zone. Now, the base of the food chain in the ocean, our primary producers, phytoplankton, must live in the photic zone in order to grow. As a result, most of life in the ocean is really contained within the photic zone, some a little bit deeper, but the majority of life is up here in this tiny portion near the surface. But this tiny portion that receives sunlight is getting tinier. And in order to understand why, we need to look at our little phytoplankton friends. We've already established that phytoplankton needs sunlight to survive, but they also need nutrients. And with the introduction of more nutrients from human sources, there are going to be larger blooms of phytoplankton. Now, the more pronounced the phytoplankton bloom is, the less light can penetrate underneath. This concept of ocean darkening is well accepted in coastal environments where human nutrients are often introduced into the ocean and there's an increase in sediment. But the unanswered question was, how far are those excess human nutrients making it into the open ocean? And this is where satellites enter the chat. This is Modus Aqua, is operated by NASA, and it can sense not only what wavelengths of light are reaching the ocean, but what wavelengths are penetrating the ocean and how deep that light can penetrate. Now, over a 20-year time series, scientists have found a reduction in the depth of the photic zone. Anywhere in red shows where there is less sunlight penetrating the ocean. And now you say, okay, so what? What's even going to happen if our ocean gets darker? The first implication is a reduction in the volume of ocean that can sustain life. The depth of the photic zone is essentially getting pinched, and even if you are a creature that does not need sunlight directly, you probably feed on something that does. Additionally, if you are a plant that lives on the seabed in a benthic habitat, there's very few places for you to go if an algal bloom is blocking your sunlight. Another implication is the changes to the big travelers, the migratory animals in the ocean. Many species rely on traveling by moonlight, and so a darker ocean in the day also means a darker ocean at night. As moonlight is more obscured, that means some of these species that migrate up and down the water column are going to have to migrate further and further up to get any sort of available light.